doing some more life-changing liposuction, how to regain that confidence and live your best life now. Um, some of you may have made mistakes in your life. We all have, right? And there becomes a time in your life when you decide enough is enough. Enough of those mistakes. You're tired of doing them. You're tired of the results from those mistakes. And now it's time to change your life. And it's a, like life transformation. Now, when you've hit that point in your life, that time when it's, and you just decide, it's see, my patients, I've been doing this for 15 years now, and I've seen this time and time again. The people that get the best results are the ones that make that decision to transform their life and change everything. And it can't just be spend some money and get this procedure. That's not enough. Because when you continue doing the same habits, the same things that you've been doing in the past, you're going to get the same results. What's up, Latoya Pierce? What's up, Cherry, Jasmine? Welcome everybody for jumping on here. It's the choices that you make, right? And when you don't change the things that you do and the choices that you make on a daily basis, when you don't change that, it's just a matter of time until you recreate the same problems. What's up, Jeanette? Latoya says she's all set for her surgery. See you June 28th. Nice. And I know Jeanette's coming in for her procedure soon. Stacy Dinga jumping on Instagram. What's up, Stacy? Stacy's like our rock here, our solid. She's the person who is always bringing the confidence, always bringing the positivity to the group. If you haven't joined our private Facebook group, I highly recommend you get on there. The private Facebook group is a place where you're going to find a lot of these pictures that you'll see behind me are from individuals who shared them publicly, and they share them in the group. Within the group, we have a safe zone, right? It's a place where you can tell your story, ask questions, share your pictures, and it's safe because everyone there is positive. Everyone there is also trying to improve and transform their lives. So you're not going to find the people tearing you down. You're not going to find the people talking trash to you, trying to tell you shouldn't be doing this, that you should just stick to your diet. So like those negative people, you want to distance yourself. Okay, when you get into our group, it's all positivity, and if you don't want to bring positivity to the group, then we're going to be pushing you out. We only want people that are going to bring positive energy to the group, and these individuals, like this right here, she's been sharing her story. She'll pop in every once in a while, on these lives. Sometimes she'll jump in, and when you get to hear the real stories of the real individuals, it's super, super inspiring and motivating. It's one thing for me to tell you the stories, for me to share that stuff with you, but when the actual person is telling you the story, it carries much more weight. Jeanette, when I spoke with Jeanette earlier today, she's got her procedure coming up, and she told me that she was inspired by a story that I told about my mom. And that just put a huge smile on my face because it's proof of what I call the ripple effect. I speak about paying it forward all the time. So when you've come to MyShape Lipo and you've gotten these procedures and you've figured out how to transform your life and you figured out how to get the best possible results after the procedure, once you figure that stuff out, you have to share it. You have to help other people. You have to pay it forward. And so what I'm hoping is that our patients turn around and help the people behind them that were in the same boat as they were in just a few weeks prior, a few months prior, whatever the case. But to help those people to make the decision, because many times what happens when you're looking into procedures like this, it's like you don't really know, right? And so you're reading a lot online and you don't really know because there's a bunch of false information out there. There's a bunch of fake testimonials and you don't really know what to expect. So when you pay it forward, it helps someone else to make an educated decision. Now, that's the first ripple, okay? Now, once you have helped that individual, now if that individual can turn around and help somebody else, it's another ripple. And so this paying it forward, we can potentially, my efforts of helping you can ripple out and help many, many more people. And what Jeanette shared with me was that she was inspired by the story that I told about my mom. My mom's story, now she's had liposuction multiple times. That's not the exciting part of the story. Her story is that, she's about 74, I believe, somewhere right around there. And she has, you know, coronary artery disease, which is she forms plaque in her blood vessels, particularly these ones right here, the carotid arteries, and this was the problem for her. However, she's got the problem all throughout her body, which is what I was trying to explain to her. Is that just because you get clogged arteries in one spot, who's to say it's not all over the body? But I digress. Okay, so my mom had this issue. She got surgery on her neck, and for her, when I spoke to her, I was like, "This is your wake up call. You are so lucky that you survived this, that you're alive." And I asked her point blank, "How long do you expect to live your life?" And she said, "I don't know, maybe another 20 years." And so that's great, phenomenal, amazing. You get to choose, okay? Because when you say you want to live another 20 years, now it's your responsibility to start acting as if you're going to live that long. Because when you do the things that are detrimental to you, then you're essentially living as if you're going to die soon. And so the things that you do will cause you to live a shorter life. And that's maybe you're a smoker, maybe you drink alcohol, maybe you're drinking eating the wrong foods. These are all things that all of us do on a daily basis that could be causing harm to us and could be making it so we live a shorter life. Now, my mom, this is the awesome part of the story. She made a decision. She's like, "I'm going to live." She chose life. She chose life. And so she started living and acting as if she was going to live another 20 years. And so what does that mean? She had to drastically change her diet. Not just a little bit, not just a little change here, she drastically changed her diet. She cut out sugar, she cut out gluten, she, decreased her calorie intake. She's drinking plenty of water. All the things that I suggested, she's done. And not only has she hasn't cheated. Well, maybe a little bit, right? But the point that really pushed it over the edge is she did it for about 3 months. And many of you may have heard, if you've heard me speak in the past, that it takes about 30 to 60 days to implement a habit. Okay? And it takes about 90 days for all of the cells in our body to completely turn over. So our cells regenerate and reproduce new cells. And then the old ones, they die off and slough off. Most of us are extremely aware of this on our skin, for example. Our skin sloughs off, and it constantly happens. That's why we're getting dry skin, it sloughs off. So it takes about 7 days for the skin. All the other organs in our body, everything, all the soft tissue within 90 days is completely regenerated. And so you might say, "Well, why do I have these problems?" And they remain. Well, if in 90 days I completely regenerate something new, why don't those problems go away? Well, the reason is because you keep doing the same stupid shit that you were doing in the past that caused the problem. If you do the same stuff that you did in the past that caused it, it will regenerate. Okay? And your body remembers. And it takes that 90 days for it to forget. And you have to be consistent and do the things that are necessary that your body needs, and then your body will rebuild a completely new body. So now what happened to my mom? So she lost 25 pounds. Blood pressure went down and has been controlled ever since she started changing her diet. She has more energy than she's ever had before. She's more active than she has been in the past. She's able to walk, and she goes on long walks. That's sort of thing. She likes to take her dogs out. Her story is one of success, and it's a proof of the stuff that I talk about, because she took it very seriously. This was her life. She chose her life, and many of you may not see this in liposuction as choosing life, but that's exactly what it is. If this individual keeps doing the same thing that they're doing in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years perhaps, they're going to have major health problems, whether that's diabetes, heart disease, uh, strokes. Um, People get problems because of the fat that they carry, because of the food that they eat. It leads to these problems. And once you realize this stuff, this is, I'm telling you, most people don't realize this. You think you know this stuff. I've heard this before, but once you realize that it's the things that you do, the food that you eat, that's what causes the problem. And you are the only one responsible for it. You are the only one responsible for putting that food in your mouth. If it's not good for you, it's your fault. You are the only one responsible for getting up and walking, getting up and moving, going to the gym. You're the only one responsible for drinking the water for yourself. You're the only one. So now, once you take 100% responsibility for yourself, that's when your whole life changes. You stop making excuses. Well, oh yeah, but so and so did this. This happened to me. I could have done this, but all those stories you got to throw out the window, because the only one responsible for your success is you, and the only one that's going to really care if you succeed or fail is you. When you succeed, all your friends will be like, "Yeah, good job." If you fail, it's like, that sucks. I'm sorry for you, but I'm gonna go about my life. And that's what everybody does, right? Because you're the only one that has to wake up, look yourself in the mirror, and feel the level of energy that you have, the level of motivation that you have. It's your life. So if you're not happy with your life, what's happening to you right now, the way that you feel, your health, your level of energy, if you're not happy with that, then you need to make a change. Now, what I found in liposuction is when I capture these individuals' attention, when I capture your attention right at the point when you're so sick and tired of the bullshit in your life, you're so sick of this crap, you're so sick of living with the restrictions, you're so sick of hiding. When I capture you at that moment and you're ready to change, that's when the magic starts to happen. Because it happens so quickly. I've heard these stories so many times. When an individual came to this channel, they heard me speaking, and I spoke to them. It was the words that I'm saying. I'm attracting people that have this story. I'm attracting people that are ready to transform their life and ready to change every aspect of it in order to get the results like this. Because it's a two-way street here. It's a teamwork, right? These results don't come just by my actions. Just because you pay doesn't mean you get. I'm going to do my thing, and maybe I can get you amazing results like this, but it doesn't stay. Here's the key. It doesn't stay unless you do the job, unless you do your work, unless you live the lifestyle of a person that deserves to have that kind of body, that deserves to have that kind of life. Yeah, Jeanette says, stay away from negative people who have nothing nice to say. It's like words of wisdom here. Okay. She says, it's so right telling we want people that are being away from the negativity and don't listen to the people saying, don't do this and don't do that. It'll make you feel right. It's one of the big life lessons I've taught in the past is that you are the sum of the 5 closest people that you spend time with. And this is a rule. This is like a life law. It applies to every aspect of your life. The 5 people that you spend the most time with will influence every aspect of your life. You will start to look like these people, meaning you'll start to eat the same things. And so when you eat the same things for long enough, you start to look and you'll start to have the same problems that the other people have. And similarly, whatever you're doing is going to influence them. If these people are broke, you're likely going to be broke. If they're rich, you're likely going to be rich. It's crazy how this stuff works, and it's a simple law. If you want to change this stuff, you get rid of the negative people and you recruit the positive people. Get rid of the negative and recruit the positive. Now, the toughest part of this law, toughest part, is A lot of the negative people happen to be family. It happens every time. Your family is just bad enough to fuck you up. And it happens to all of us, right? And we're probably messing up our kids just enough, okay? Causing just enough negative. Like, oh, you shouldn't do that. Oh, don't do that. There's just enough negative that we as family members we pepper onto the people around us. So sometimes you're gonna have these one person, this two people maybe that you're spending time with that are just like they're toxic to you, they're toxic to your mind, they're toxic to your kids, they're toxic to everybody around you. But yet because they happen to be whoever they are, you give them a pass. Oh, because you're my brother, I'm gonna allow you to treat me like shit, my family like shit. Those days are over. They're gone. You don't have to do that crap anymore. You don't have to. It's a choice. If you want to, you can. But now you got to realize once you know the law, and you start applying it to your life, you'll start to see the law apply to you whether you choose it or not. Because if you choose not to extract these negative people from your life, the law will work no matter what. It doesn't stop just because you decide not to engage it. It's the people that you surround yourself with, you're going to be influenced. Hands down, bottom line, doesn't matter whether you choose it or not, and you think that they're not influencing you, but that's total bullshit. You're just lying to yourself. It always happens. Always. So utilize the law to make yourself better by eliminating the bad people and recruiting the good people. Now, here's a really cool thing that I learned that you can do. When I say the 5 closest people, they don't actually have to be alive, and they don't actually have to be people. Tricky, right? This is a let's hear this one, right? This is a life hack. Okay, the 5 closest people. Okay, what about books that you read? Could a book be a mentor? Absolutely. Could that mentor have a podcast or a blog? Absolutely. Absolutely. Okay, so when I say you spend your time with them, it means maybe you read all their books and you're learning from what that person is. You'll be influenced by them. Maybe you only surround yourself by 2 people, right? And all the rest of the people in your life are these books, right? And your mentors, or maybe it's like you're watching something, videos or podcasts, and like this, for example. If you spend more time with me, I'm going to influence you, hands down. You'll hear the words that I say, and at some point, because I repetitively say this stuff over and over and over, at some point, the information is going to diffuse and seep into your mind, and you'll actually realize what I'm saying, and you'll understand how it applies to your life and how these laws of nature can be used in your favor. And this is the power. This is the superpower that we all have. We all have these abilities. The problem comes when someone's like, oh, but I like this, or but I don't want to not hang out with her. That's my sister, or that's whoever your relative is. Just because they're that relative, you're giving them time. And you got to realize that your time is what's valuable to you. It's the only thing that you have. So when you give it away to other people that don't deserve it, you're shortchanging yourself. All right, let's see. Jeanette says, get away from sugar, do the keto. That's worked for me, and I'm so excited to get this procedure done. Fighting to stay healthy and hot looking. It's a Jeanette, actually, she had issues with diabetes, and she was able to change her diet dramatically and get significant change. She was unable to qualify for the procedure, and she went and changed her life, and she did the things that were necessary, and she made drastic changes and got drastic results. So she's a positive influence, I think, that for those individuals who struggle with diabetes and want to live a better life. So Jeanette, she's amazing, and this is just the beginning of her story, which is super cool, because now she's involved in our group. She's with the private group. Now we can see her whole story and how it turns out, and we can see, many of our patients with diabetes actually get things better under control with the lack of fat. So it affects the fat, affects the body, affects the blood sugar. So it'd be really exciting. It's going to be really exciting to see how she progresses with everything. Darlene, can I get a free consultation? So Darlene, we do consultations. So we have the first step. So if you want to get the pricing, we have this instant quick quote, and on Facebook, up in the post there's a link for the quick quote. Let's see. Yep, Cat at My Shape. She just shared the link. So you click on that link, and that's going to take you through the process of our quick quote system. You're going to answer a few questions, input some basic information, and that'll allow you to get an instant quote. So you'll know the pricing. It's pretty accurate for most people. Some people it's not going to fit them, but for most people you're able to get an accurate quote. And then when you're serious, once you have the pricing, you're ready to move forward. The next step is getting your formal consultation. So every patient that I'm going to work on, if you want to have a procedure with us, and you know the pricing already, so if you're serious and you're ready to move forward, the next step is getting a formal consultation. So I'm going to speak to you directly for about a half-hour phone conversation. I'm going to review your whole medical history. We'll review pictures, discuss your plans and what you want to achieve and what you want to accomplish, and I'll develop a plan based off of the information that I have to help you get there. So again, to reiterate, Darlene, first step is get that quick quote, and then once you have the pricing and you understand the cost and you're ready to move forward, timing is right for you, then you're going to get the formal consultation. Okay, Unique Simmons says, what's the lowest BMI you will do? I don't think there's a low BMI. I mean, it's just a matter of the fat, right? So there's some individuals that are very, very, very thin and lean, but they have, we'll call it a trouble area. So if you have a trouble area and you have fat to remove, then we can help you out. So I don't know exactly what your story is, but there's no lowest BMI. But I mean, obviously, you got to deal with the reason here. As the BMI goes lower, there's less and less fat. So, if you don't have the fat, then that's the reason not to get the procedure, not the fact that your BMI is low. Okay. Chris Silva says, I have been trying to get a hold of your office, please. Okay, we have a phone and it works, and the girls are there right now as we're speaking. So, and this is on Instagram, so if one of you girls can jump on Instagram, get the phone number, you can connect with this young lady, Chris Silva. Call the office right now, and the girls are there. So, that's how this works. If we don't know, I've had people with like, I've been waiting for your call for 6 weeks. I'm like, if we don't call you back the next day, we're probably not going to call you back. Okay, I mean, that's just any business, right? Don't wait for the business to call you back. We have lots of people. We have lots of messages. There's lots of room for messages to get lost, right? And that's with any business. You guys have to be realistic here. If you want help, then go through the efforts. If you want to get the results, then you have to push through this. You call us. You do the things that are necessary. Like, obviously, as a business owner, I'm doing everything that I can to. I want to connect with everybody. I don't want to miss anything, but it's not realistic. I don't know everything. So just because you clicked something somewhere, I don't know that. I mean, how could anybody know that? So you just take simple stuff. Pick up the phone. Call us. Okay, Unique says, I'm 78 and a BMI of 28, or 178. That's not that thin. So, yeah, Unique. In fact, it's funny because that's actually the break point of being, for a lot of other doctors, they won't even work on people with a high BMI of 28 or higher, which is crazy, right? Most of our patients are larger than that. Most of our patients have BMIs in the 30s, some into the 40s. So, BMI of 28 is not that big, but it's also, we can make big dramatic change for you. The interesting thing is when you take out uh, fat on a smaller individual, it really gets these curves and makes dramatic change. Sometimes people are just like a little bit away from that. I mean, I'll call it perfection, but perfection is not possible, right? But they're just a little bit away from being awesome, right? You look at something like this, and it's like she wasn't that big, but having an hourglass figure makes a big difference, right? You see, she wasn't that big, but her belly was sticking out further than her breasts. That's not cool. So we take the belly away, and all of a sudden it changes. You look at the before in this picture, how you know she was lean. So again, she's not that big, but you can see how the fullness that she carried in her midsection made her very boxy. So she had a boxy shape despite being fairly lean. So just taking out that little bit of fat changes the shapes. And that's what we're looking to accomplish. We change the shapes, and we can create that hourglass figure that makes all the difference. Okay, Stacy Dinga. I got to speak with Stacy the other day. It's always nice to talk to her. Stacy says, instead of looking at workouts as something bad, look at it as a stress reliever. It's funny that you say that, Stacy, because everything is the way that you think about it, right? It's the mindset. It's how you view the world, your perspective. And if you're viewing the world as negative and it's all against you and you're the victim, then you're going to play that role. If you're the victim of this world, then you will play the victim all the time. And nobody wants to be around victims. Nobody wants to be around those people that are negative all the time. And I certainly don't. So if you want to be a victim of something, go be a victim somewhere else. Because those people never tend to do well with these procedures. They take on their victim role, and the procedure afterwards is never perfect and it's never good enough. So I don't like dealing with those people. So we only want to attract positive people. And that's why I want to encourage people like Stacy, who they're always positive, and I know that she influences others to be positive, and she attracts people who are positive. And the cool thing about this is, like, people that are negative and mean and nasty, they're repelled by this energy. They're repelled by it. They think it's disgusting, it's gross. Oh my God, you guys you're always so positive. That's so fake. But that's not true. It's not fake. It's like, you get what you focus on. You get what you see. So if you're always seeing positive in the world, then that's all you're going to experience. But if you always see negative in the world, that's also what you'll experience. And the truth is the world has both. And they're everywhere. There's good stuff over here, there's bad stuff over there, it's all over the place. What do you choose to see? Because the truth is, all of us are selectively eliminating things out of our memory, eliminating things out of our view, out of what we see, what we perceive. We eliminate these things. That's the only way our brain can comprehend so much input, is we selectively eliminate things. So what you need to do is get your mindset and focused on the positive things and selectively eliminate all the negative stuff. And if you can do that, all you'll see is positive, and you'll be happy, and you'll be smiling more often, and you'll it's like resonating. The energy, the positive stuff will resonate off of you and affect other people, which is what Stacey gets to see. She gets to see how other people are influenced by her positive nature. And she's helping people. See, Perla Michael says, is there a certain BMI for the procedure? We don't restrict off the BMI. The BMI, we use the BMI as a calculator it calculates the expected volume that we would be removing from a patient. And that expected volume allows us to categorize the individuals, and it also fits into our safety protocol, where we give specific recommendations based off of the size of the individual. Larger individuals, there's different safety protocol recommendations, the different recommendations for procedures. So all these things are calculated and determined based off of the BMI. So we're not using the BMI as a as a way to limit you, but rather a way to just categorize and make sure that we're giving you the right recommendations. So I mean, we don't have limitations. It's not restrictions like that. Okay, Cindy213 says, what happens to the loose skin? So I'll step aside so you can look. Let's see if we can zoom in here. No tummy tuck here. No tummy tuck. Okay, so you can see the skin tightens up. Now, this happens on everybody. The skin will always retract. And I use the analogy so you can understand this as it's similar to like a water balloon. And just like a water balloon, when you fill up the water balloon, it stretches the skin of that water balloon and everything looks tight and smooth. Okay? Looks tight and smooth. Well, I mean, obviously you know it's hanging, so you know it's not super tight, but you know when you're full, it stretches the skin and that skin appears tighter. Now then when you remove the volume, now we go back to the analogy of the water balloon, when you remove the water, the water balloon always shrinks up in size. It always does, until a certain point. And some of the water balloon, the skin of the water balloon, it could be damaged because it was stretched out for too long, and it's unable to contract back to its original level. So that's what you'll see. Even these larger individuals where we take out a significant volume and they have stretch marks, they have damaged skin, it always retracts back. It always retracts back. The question is just how much. Some individuals are going to have some limitations. They're going to have some personal restrictions, and those are something that we don't know. But all I can tell you is that everybody gets some retraction. It's never this empty sack of skin that the plastic surgeons like to tell you. It's never that. Ever, ever, ever. Never, ever. I've never seen it. Now, sometimes the skin may be looser than you want it to be, because when we remove a huge volume of fat, it's just like the water balloon. It'll shrink up in size, but maybe it's going to be not as tight as you want it to be. So sometimes those individuals may decide to get a tummy tuck afterwards. They may decide to get the skin cut away afterwards, but it's not necessary, because through your clothes, these patients look awesome. Everything looks great through the clothes. Or you put on a little, the compression garments, the Spanx, and it cleans everything up, makes everything look nice and pretty. But some individuals, they're sold on this whole idea of the tummy tuck, and they believe it's the right thing to do. And if that's your choice, you can always do that. And I'll tell you what, it's way easier to get a tummy tuck when all the fat's gone. When they have to suck fat out and do a tummy tuck, that's when the results are crappy with tummy tucks. So if you are considering a tummy tuck but you're larger, get liposuction first. Hands down, no questions asked. That's the right choice. And then once you get the fat out of there, maybe you don't need a tummy tuck. That would be awesome, right? Save some money, save some time, save a recovery. That would be great. Save the big scar. Amazing. But if afterwards you're like, the skin's looser than I want whatever you want, you want to cut away stretch marks or whatever the case, or you want things to be super abnormally tight, you can do that. After liposuction, it's way easier. They have to cut away less skin, and the results are way better. Stephanie says, what's the price range? Stephanie, I don't need to tell you your price range, because you can go get your pricing right now. You're on Facebook, go up to the post here. There's a link in the post for your quick quote. Once you click on the quick quote, and you can do this while we're speaking right now. Go on the quick quote, click on the link, enter some basic information, make a few selections, and you'll get a accurate quote for what you want. And I've created these packages that are essentially the biggest most fat that we can suck out of one individual of your size. And all this stuff is based off of the BMI, so we've categorized it based off of the size of the individual. So I have created the procedure so we can get the maximum amount of fat out and get the biggest, most dramatic change while maintaining safety protocols. Okay, what's the typical recovery time? So the recovery time after these procedures is going to, it's going to vary widely. Um, in general, the first few days after the procedure, you're going to be sore, you're going to be swollen, and you're going to be draining a bunch of this fluid. So we utilize a lot of fluid to get you numb during the procedure, and the technique that we utilize is called the tumescent technique, and so that means we're injecting a lot of fluid into the fat layer, and that allows us to remove it while you're awake. It's called the tumescent technique if you want to Google that. The fat that we remove will leave a space. Okay, so once that fat's gone, there's going to be a space under your skin, and your skin's going to be really loose because we broke up all the connective tissue. So immediately afterwards, we put a compression garment on to push and make everything nice and tight. And so we essentially, that space is there. We want to close down the space. So we close down the space because your body's natural reaction is going to be swell up. So we close down that space, keep the compression on it, try and reduce the amount of swelling that'll swell into it as much as possible. So initially you're going to swell up, so we need to compress. The compression also helps to push out all that additional fluid. So over the first say 1 to 3 days, you're going to be draining a significant amount of fluid. Most people, some people don't drain much at all, but most people will be draining a lot in the first 3 days. After that, you're going to have some soreness, some swelling. Most people are able to function, meaning you're able to walk around, you're able to do things, and you might be slower because of this. However, it's not stopping you from doing things. So people who have sedentary type jobs are usually able to get back to their sedentary type job within 3 to 5 days. Some people obviously will take longer. Some people are able to do it in a shorter period of time. What I've found is that people usually know themselves. And they usually know themselves that they either struggle with everything or they're like that tough person who they can push through anything and nothing slows them down. And if you're that person that nothing slows you down, you push through anything, then this is just one of those things. For me personally, I'm like that. I had the procedure after work one day, drove my motorcycle home the same night, went home, came back to work the next day, and never skipped a beat. And that's possible. I wouldn't recommend it, but it is possible. Most people, they'll take 2 or 3 days off, go back to work. But if you have a job that's significantly more physical, then you might be out for a little bit longer. So real quick, if you are just coming onto the channel, you're interested in liposuction, to get your pricing, you want to go to our website, check myshapelipo.com. You're going to do the quick quote. The quick quote is the easy system where you click on the link, you're going to enter some basic information, and we'll actually give you a quote based off of the information that you provide and the questions that you answer. You'll get a quote, and it's pretty accurate as far as the numbers. It's pretty accurate as far as the procedure and what we recommend for you. So if you like that and you're happy, you're excited, you want to move forward, you've seen the results that we get, and you want that yourself, the next step is your formal consultation. The formal consultation, it's a paid consultation. It's $100. You're going to meet with me directly. We're going to review your situation, come up with a plan, and that's essential if you want to have a procedure. So you have to do the formal consultation before you get a procedure. Angelique, you want to have this? All right. Angelique, if you haven't been to our private Facebook page, that's the best place to get, you can connect with some of our previous patients and, see a lot of these pictures here. And actually, you can communicate with these individuals directly, which is really cool. So if you're searching for these procedures, I'm sure you found that it's really difficult to find good information. And you read reviews and things of that nature that who knows whether they're real or not. So what we've created, the private Facebook group, is the ability to connect with real people, see real results, and get real information. So not like the fluff that providers, when we do liposuction, we want to put only our best foot forward, only the best patients pictures you'll see, only the happiest, but that's not necessarily the case here. That's not real. The truth is there's good, there's bad, there's people that are happy, there's people that are unhappy, people that get amazing results, people that they wish they got better. But you need to see all of it just to understand that this is not like this is not as just snap your fingers or pay the money and magic happens. It's not like that. It's a process, and you have to go through this process in order to come out the other side in a positive way. And so we provided all these a group to where our previous patients are able to share their stories, share their experience, and help those individuals that are just coming through, that are just now interested in having the procedure and they're scared, they're not sure what to think. You got to connect with the previous patients, and they're almost like mentors. So they work to help you and guide you through the path of making the right decision, because a lot of times the fears that you have that are stopping you are unfounded, meaning it doesn't make sense. And so when you speak with someone that's already had the procedure, they're like, oh yeah, that's stupid, don't even worry about it. Like there's some people that come in, they're so worried, and they're like, I'm not going to get a fat transfer because what if you get a fat embolism? Oh my God, you're going to die. And the truth is, and I've been doing this for 15 years and I've never even heard of anybody getting a fat embolism. It's a theoretical possibility. And that's it. And some people are so freaking scared of these things that it stops them from taking action. So when you get to speak to somebody like myself who has experience in doing these procedures and helps you to understand that it's almost near impossible to get a fat embolism from a fat transfer. It's almost impossible. And I've never heard of one actually happening. I've only heard of theoretically that it's possible. But the way that we do the techniques is the area that we're injecting the fat into, so the butt or the breast for that matter, we inject the same tumescent fluid, which it constricts the blood vessels. So it inherently constricts all the blood vessels so small that the skin turns white. Or, if you got darker skin, it's a lighter color. And it's a lighter color because of the redness of the blood has diminished, is pushed away from the area. So there's very little bleeding. Now, if you can imagine there's very little blood in the area, that's because the blood vessels are tiny and shrunken up. And if the blood vessels are tiny and shrunken up, how is a big fat cell, which you can actually see with your eyes, they're that big, how is a big fat cell going to get into a blood vessel? It's damn near impossible. But yet, there's some people that get scared because of these things. So this is why, and I'm telling this story not to scare you, obviously, but to allow you to realize that when you connect with people that have already been through this process, all these things that may be scaring you now, it's just, sometimes it's just really easy. Oh, that's no big deal. Don't worry about it. That's not going to be an issue. Don't worry about it. This is what you need to worry about. You're concerned here. You should be concerned about this. And in order to alleviate the risk or decrease the chance of this happening, you do this, this, and this. That's what a mentor is for. They can help you and guide you through the real process, right? So what it does is it helps you to eliminate the stuff that's not really necessary, that's clouding your mind. And if you can eliminate the stuff that's clouding your mind, it allows for you to make a clear decision. And not only that, it makes the decision more clear to you, because the things that you thought were something that would hold you back, once you find out that it's something that is not necessary to hold you back, you can move forward. It's that simple. So if you haven't joined the private Facebook group, I highly suggest you do that. Sweet Angel MC, what's the BMI cutoff? There is no BMI cutoff. We're very large individuals. There's clearly a limit. I just haven't found where it is at this point. So I've been helping very, very large individuals. Some people will even with the BMI of 60. But here's the thing is that these larger individuals, the recommendations are different. So that's why on our quick quote, you'll see that if you have a BMI over 44, we require that you do a formal consultation. And the reasoning is because as your BMI increases, there's essentially what it's saying is that there's a larger volume of fat, okay? Now, the difference is that where you carry that fat. And some individuals, like this one, is odd, bizarre, right? She carries a substantial amount of fat in her lower back. It's really weird. Not many people get this. And this happened to be, she had really tight skin. So it was bizarre. I mean, I've seen things like this. I've seen this, and in particular, the individuals, when you start getting the fat in the lower back and it starts to essentially like fold over, it's the same concept of that, the belly in the front of your belly, how it folds over. As gravity starts taking it to fold over. This happens from sitting. So as you get larger and you fill in fat in the lower back area and the above area, then when you sit, it bumpers, it pushes up, and it causes this. And I've seen this on smaller individuals where this happens, that they sit a lot or whatever their genetics are, it causes this. But as it advances, it will advance and it'll start to roll over, and gravity will pull it down. If you don't attack it, if we don't get this out of there. But you can see how she can go from this craziness to looking normal. And this was while she's sitting on the table. And that's the magic. This is what's possible. And so once you start realizing in your mind of what's possible for you, you'll see what's possible for someone else. And then you start applying that what's possible for someone else maybe is possible for you. And once you start realizing that there is hope, that's when the excitement starts. That's when you're like, I'm there, I'm not stuck anymore. I can move. I can make changes. There's still hope. You can do this. That's the excitement. And if you need more inspiration, you need more motivation, go to the private Facebook group, because you'll see time and time again the same thing, these same issues that these individuals are having. We're solving the problems. So if we can solve their problems, we can solve yours. Then the question is how long do you want to wait? That's it. How long do you want to keep living like this with this big belly? How long do you want to keep living with those restrictions? How long do you want to keep living with that low self-esteem? How long do you want to keep hiding with, whether that's with clothes, hiding by not going to different functions, hiding by not going out, hiding by avoiding people, hiding by avoiding pictures? How long do you want to do that? That's the decision you need to make, because it just takes one decision and your whole life can change. But you have to make that decision, and you have to make it to the point where enough is enough and you're not going back. And I've said this in the past where people say, I should do this, I should diet, I should exercise, I should drink more water, and then they should all over themselves. Because that should, it leaves your mind, it'll tell your subconscious, if I don't want to do this, I don't have to, because I only should do it. I don't have to do it. I should do it. And if you leave that opening for your subconscious, most people they'll slide right into that hole and they'll get stuck. So you have to change your should to a must. So once it's a must, that you must change, that you must get your life under control, that you must get your health under control, once that's changed, everything will change. The way that you think about this, mindset, the way that you think about your life, your perspective on your life, once you can adjust that properly and align it in the right way, with the right people, with the right actions, once you align, the magic happens. And that's why I want to do these consultations with these individuals, because I want to make sure that my philosophy aligns with yours. Because if our philosophies don't align, and what I expect you to do, you're not going to do, then these results don't happen. And they don't stay for the long term. And my job, what I care about changing your life. And I'm not looking just to change your life. I'm looking to change your life so you can be positive and change all of your family members, all of your friends, and get them on the same boat of this positivity, because I know what's possible. And once I can show you what's possible, it'll open up a whole new world to you. Once you realize that it is possible for you to live a healthier life, it is possible for you to be leaner, it is possible for you to do the things that you thought were impossible. And once you can get past that, then you start to realize, well, if this is possible, then why can't I do that? And it's like, it's momentum. Once you start doing these things that you thought were impossible and you start knocking them down, it's just a matter of time until you accomplish everything you want in your life. It's this basic stuff. But you got to get off the couch. You got to start moving. You got to start doing instead of just thinking. You can't just think, I want to be like this. You got to actually have to do. Now, a lot of people are like, you get stuck at this point where it's a lot of work. I don't know if I want to work that hard. I don't know if I want to do that. Well, those people who are right at that point were like, I don't know. You got to get leverage. And the leverage comes from extrapolating what your life will be like in 5 or 10 years if you don't make any changes. So say you're this bigger girl, you're overweight, maybe you're starting to get high blood pressure already, maybe you're pre-diabetic. Let's accelerate 5 years or 10 years. Let's say 10 years out. 10 years out, how much weight do you think that you'll gain? If like they say, the average person is gaining 1.5, 2 pounds a year. That's what they say, but the reality is it's probably a lot more. But let's say 1 to 2 pounds. So now 10 years later, we're talking 20, 30 pounds heavier. If the blood pressure was a problem in the past, then it's probably going to be even worse in the future. If diabetes was pre-diabetes, it's likely 10 years from now you're going to be full-blown diabetes, and that comes with a lot of other health issues, the obesity, the restrictions. Then you can start considering what your confidence will be like at that point, and then you just need to ask yourself, is that what I want? And if that's not what you want, then you need to start changing, and that's the leverage. And you're like, I definitely don't want that to happen to me. So if I don't want that to happen to me, then today, right now, I need to start doing these things that are necessary so that shit don't happen to me. And you have the power now to do these things. You have the power. You also have the power to not do anything. And that's why it's like, these things that we're talking about, they're not that hard. But because it's not that hard, the problem is that because it's so easy to not do, that's why people don't do it. It's easy to do, but it's also easy not to do. What's up, Rebecca? Okay, those are my results. Yep, Rebecca. You see Rebecca all over the place. We got her pictures. She's provided a lot of pictures, so we show her a lot. She's also very active on the group, and she's one of our administrators since she's been so active. She's a great resource. She'll definitely help you out finding the right path. Okay. Kathy Carter from YouTube says, I have tried everything. I have had 2 cesarean sections. As I get older, my stomach is getting larger. Will liposuction be effective? Absolutely. If you have fat, we can take it out. But here's the problem: is why are you getting bigger? And if we can take the fat out now, but you continue to get bigger, then it's just a matter of time where you recreate the same problems. And so that's why it's you have to take drastic change. You have to do something different, because if you keep doing the same things, then you're just gonna, no matter what we do today, you'll inevitably recreate the same problems. So we can take out all that fat today, but if you keep gaining the weight, the fat's gonna go somewhere. You're gonna gain weight somewhere. Maybe it's not in the area that we treated, but it'll be wherever else you have fat cells. That might be on your butt, that might be on your back, on your arms, your chin, your chest. It might be, anywhere. So it's important that if you don't change those lifestyle habits now, then doing the procedure is going to be a waste of time, waste of money. And I'm saying that not because I'm trying to push people away, because obviously I'm a business. I want to help you. I want to help you out. But I don't care to help you if you're not going to help yourself. I want to help the people that want help, that are want the help down the path, of righteousness, of getting things right in their life, of doing things the right way so they can live a proper life. So you can be healthy, you can be lean, you can have the capabilities to do everything that this human body is capable of. And it's a shame that so many people are limited. I mean, I would say the CDC claims that upwards of 60% of adults are considered obese, and I feel so bad for those people that are restricted and limited and can't do the same things that I've been able to do just because I'm healthy, just because I'm lean, just because I'm flexible, just because I'm able to move. I've been able to actively do so many more things in my life and experience so many more different experiences, which has given me the wisdom and knowledge that I have because I've been able to get out and do. Because you learn from doing, you learn from making mistakes. So if you decide at some point that you're tired of just getting by and you feel like there's something more out there for you, you feel like you want more out of your life, then this might be the right path for you. This might be the right way to go, because we can get that fat out of you quickly, get you big dramatic change, but you got to change the mindset. It has to coincide with the change of the mindset and the change of the habits and the lifestyle. It has to coincide with that stuff. Now, some people, it's like it coincides a little bit further down the road, but ultimately speaking, it has to coincide. You have to combine the two. The liposuction with the lifestyle changes gets you the best possible results. It's simple. It's easy. All right, we're going to end here shortly. So if you guys have any other quick questions before I go. Definitely make sure that if you haven't gotten your pricing yet, go get the quick quote. You can find that on our website, or if you're on Facebook, it's up in the post there. That gives you an accurate quote, so you get the pricing. It also shows you the different packages that I recommend for the different BMI levels or categories. So get your pricing, and then once you're ready to really transform your life, once you make that decision that you must change, that's the time. Give me a call. We'll do the formal consultation, develop a plan for you, and change your life. But the expectations that you're going to have are going to be dependent on this conversation, and so I want to make sure that with each individual, I have the opportunity to speak with them prior to the procedure to set your expectations up properly, because many times when people have the wrong expectations, that's when they end up being unhappy after these type of procedures, because their expectations were off. They were expecting something that was not possible, or their expectations were so rigid and fixed as to it has to be this way, that they weren't open for another way. And the reality is, when we go into these type of procedures, you kind of have to let go of your expectations in a way, and just accept, because we do everything that we can to get the best possible results, and despite that, dependent on the individual, each individual has their own limitations, and that those limitations may not be apparent till after the procedure. So we have to do everything that we can to get you the best possible results, and you got to realize that it's never perfect. It's always better. In most, that's the goal. It's never perfect. It's always better. So when it's not perfect afterwards, you're going to realize, well, okay, it's not perfect. It's way better than it was, right? Just recently, we had someone posted on our group, saying that their belly's not flat and they're unhappy with their loose skin. But you look at the picture and it's like, belly looks flat and the skin doesn't look loose. So perception is everything. And when you perceive yourself as being the victim, that's what you're going to feel like. So when you perceive all the negative stuff and you see all the negative, you're like, oh, but it's not that flat, and oh, the skin's not that tight, or it's there's an irregularity, or whatever the case. But But then you miss out on, instead of saying, oh my gosh, my butt's popping out, or oh my gosh, it's awesome that my breasts are sticking out further than my belly, or that fold is gone. Like if you miss all of those amazing things and all you see is the little details that are negative, then that's what you get to experience that then. And so you're choosing to experience negative stuff. Now, that doesn't mean that the negative stuff isn't there. It is there. But if you focus on it, then you get to experience it more. Similarly, the positive stuff is there as well. And if you focus on it, you get to experience it. It's a choice. You choose to experience the positive, or you choose to experience the negative. Okay? You need to also be observant, because you can see the people who choose positive and you see the people who choose negative. And so once you see people that are starting to choose negative, you need to skew away from them. Okay, just don't listen. Turn off the volume, right? My grandma used to do that when you're hearing it. Just turn down the volume. I can't hear you, right? So you can do that. Selectively turn them off. Selectively turn off the negative people and only focus on the positive. That way, that's what you experience. And you'll see it time and time again, the positive, because that's what you're looking for, and you'll say, that's normal, because that's what you see more of. Flip side, if you focus on the negative stuff, and that's all you see, you're going to think negative is normal, and life sucks, and I'm a victim. Or you focus on the positive. It's all a choice. You get what you think. If you think negative, you get negative. If you think positive, you get positive. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you're getting those quick quotes. You get your instant quick quote with the pricing. You want to change your life, this is the time to do it. We're getting you ready for summer. Get your bikini ready. If you look, this is an awesome picture. I really like seeing this, because if you had that pregnancy belly, nothing better to get rid of it. And stop getting those people asking you, how far along are you? There's no need for that stuff. Get rid of it. If you have that big chin, get rid of it. You don't have to go through life like this. You don't have to. It's a choice at this point. Now that you know that there's a solution, it's a choice to continue living that way. To continue living with the big belly, continue living with the big arms or the big chin. It's a choice that you continue to live with, because now that you know that there's a solution, living with the negative stuff is only a choice. And you can choose the positive. When you're ready, I'll talk to you with your formal consultation. I hope you have a fantastic day, and we'll see you later this week.